Good afternoon, Juan.
Good afternoon, Alex.
So glad to welcome you on the platform.
Thank you very much, Alex, for inviting me to Senior Boulevard, a really interesting initiative that was needed in the senior housing market.
Well, thanks for that comment. I'm so much looking forward for our conversation. We've had the chance to meet each other also through the aging network in the past, Aging 2.0 network, and we had the chance to talk frequently about the Spanish market. So I'm really interested to dive into the Spanish market with regard to senior living. But before we dive into that, Juan, would you mind giving a little introduction on your past and your current activities, and then we can dive into the subject?
Yeah, sure. Let me introduce myself to your viewers. I born in Valencia, Spain, where I grew up and where I studied engineering. After that time, I moved to several cities around Spain and different countries, working as a business consultant. And I decided to take a break in Barcelona and Shanghai, where I came back to study an MBA. From that time, I worked for different multinational companies in different sectors and business areas. And by 2012, I decided to start my own startups, also in different areas and different businesses. Then was that due to family matters, I got in touch with the senior issues by 2015. And since that time, I'm first volunteer, second entrepreneur, and third advisor looking for new solutions for this amazing new senior segment.
Okay, that's quite should I say, an elaborate ambitions, a combination of ambition that you've assembled there. No surprise that we know each other. Juan, as you've seen already in previous interviews, we really look forward to having a little oversight on how does the Spanish market looks like, and how do you see the current as is situation as well as moving forward. So could you give us some overview about that?
Yeah, sure. Let me first make a short introduction on how is the aging and longevity, let's say, sector or segment here in Spain. So let me give you just a few facts. So we have data from January 2019. On that time in Spain, we had more than 9 million people 65 plus, which was 90.1% of our total population. That's 65 plus. Then if we consider the people 80 plus, which is growing so fast here in Spain, nowadays we have 6.1% of our entire population. So we have to consider here the situation in Spain, what we call third age and fourth age, which is the difference in between those people, which is in around 65 to 75 and those 75 to wherever. We have 36% of this population, third, fourth age, is fourth age, and 64% of this population is third age, which is important. Almost double third age than fourth age. So then if we come back to see some forecasts, how is going to be our population, regarding the National Institute of Statistics here in Spain, we know that nowadays, as I already told you, the third and fourth age represent 19.1% of the total population. In 2022, it's just in 2 years, it's going to arrive to 20% of the population. And we are expecting to have by 2033, 25% of the total population in Spain is going to be up to 65 plus.
Sorry, 2000, which year did you mean?
2033.
33, okay.
Yeah, so in 13 years. So it's going to be 25. Okay. It means it's going to be 1/4 of the population is going to be 65 plus. And we are talking just in 13 years, which is, it's so close from today. So giving more data about that, we have to know also that in Spain, the majority of the old people are women. It's important. And when the people get older, more women is represented on the older population. So it's important to know how is our aging situation. Also in Spain, because of some factors, we have large communities of 65 plus foreigners residing in our country. From those, if we consider the European Union, we have the first community are the Germans, 30,000 people, Germans 65 plus are living here in Spain.
Oh, okay.
Almost 20,000 Italians 65 plus are living in Spain. 70,000 French people 65 plus are living here. And then if we go to other countries, apart from the European Union, we have 94,000 British people 65 plus living here in Spain. And then we have many people from Switzerland, Norway, which are the second and third countries out of the European Union representing on communities here in Spain.
So a lot of foreigners also to take into account.
A lot of people living here. Because
which perhaps makes it different from the interviews we had past, is that this is also specific markets to.
You know that we have some of the competitive advantage we have nowadays here in Spain is the sun and the weather and the quality of life. So it's something which is attract many people who come from outside. So then if we talk about life expectancy, which is so important in order to know how is our aging situation, we know that we have an average of 83 years life expectancy here in Spain. From that 83 years, we have 85 years comes from men, and 85 years come from women, and 80 years come from men. So the average is 83. Then another important issue regarding aging, probably, and when we come back later on to more questions, and if we talk about future, and if we talk about the strategy and so on, we have to know that in Spain, the most important thing reflecting the aging situation and the most important issue which is taken care by the government, by the different statements, and sometimes also by the private sector, are the pensions. We have 9.7 million pensions from the social security system in Spain, which means that almost all 65 plus people receive financial benefit from the public pension system, which is important because it's something that from a country point of view, we don't know how to manage in the future, because it's many people with public pension. And as you know, the demographic tsunami is coming and more people is going to be on that situation. So that's reflecting some facts. Then if we talk how is the people and how these aging people in Spain move and what they want, how they are and so on, we have to know that, for example, that the principal expense they have nowadays in Spain is their maintenance of their home. This represents 45% of their expenses. So how important is the habitat? Today we are talking about habitat market. How important is the habitat for the aging people population here in Spain? So, and then if we talk about which are their worries, what are they taking care and so on, we know that the most important worries for these 60 plus people in Spain is their health, their financial situation, their family. They want autonomy. They worry about being dependent in the future. This is so important for the Spanish people. They won't be independently. They want to live independently. They value safety, trust, respect, family, honesty, and feeling valued. They want to sense that they stay already in the society. They have a value in the society. They are responsible for the environment and are socially committed. Their pace, we know, is different, but they remain active. And we know also that they are much more trained than years ago. You know, the people who is arriving to the 65 plus age today has more knowledge than the people that had before. You know, we have to differentiate how is Spain from the 60s, 70s to now. I mean, we have grown a lot as a country. So we have to consider those things regarding how is the Spanish aging population. Then, as you already asked me about how is this, let's say, senior care system here in Spain, how is it answering directly your question? I'm talking more about the nursing homes, which is the most important thing we have on the care system. Later on, I will explain you also about what we call domestic care, personal care, home care, which is which has some things related to our society. But first thing and the most important one is the nursing home. So in Spain nowadays we have 4.1 places of nursing homes for every 100 elderly people, which represents 372,000 beds. It's too much or it's not? I will explain to you and your viewers. We have to consider that we have here two kinds of residents. We have privates, which represent 75% of the nursing homes, and we have public ones, which represents 25%. On the private ones, we have two kinds. We have private beds, completely 100% private beds, and then we have concert beds, which are paid by the municipality, not by the government, are paid directly by the municipalities. But I already told you, it's 372,000 beds is too much or not? It's not too much.
No, I wouldn't say that,
Yeah, 4.1, we don't reach the World Health Organization recommendation. So, and we have many waiting lists. To give you an idea, in important areas, regions in Spain, in Madrid, there is a waiting list of 68,000 beds, people asking for a nursing home bed. In Catalonia, where I live in Barcelona, we have almost 20,000 waiting list beds for the nursing homes. So on the private nursing homes, also we have the same kind of waiting list, although you have to know that there is a concern regarding the cost and so on, which
indeed,
then the waiting list is a little bit different. No?
That would be my next question, obviously, because waiting list is one thing, but also affordability is another one.
Yeah, that's so important. So then we have something which is important regarding the senior care here in Spain, which is our cultural perception about it. You know, how the people here in Spain, the aging people, the 60 plus people here in Spain, feel the senior care system. Some people directly, and I'm not talking about post-COVID, because you know that during the COVID, we had suffered a lot on the nursing homes. I mean, we have seen, and this is dramatically, we have seen that the laws we had already implanted here in Spain having been working as they should have to. So I'm talking about pre-COVID. So regarding this perception about the nursing homes, some people simply don't want to go to a nursing home because there are many myths about them. They believe that it's a place where elderly are abandoned. It's like the anteroom of death. Before death, you go to the nursing home. Sometimes they believe that is the unique option they have on the dependency stage. When they are dependent, they have to go. They know they have to go. And some other people, they believe that if they enter, they never will exit from that prison. They consider like a prison.
So very negative connotation towards it.
So negative. There is something which is important, and regarding nursing homes, it's the ratio of how long time, the average time the people stay in a nursing home in Spain, which is 1.7 years, which is not a lot. If you consider, if you consider that information.
Now, if I take your 4.1 statistics, actually that makes sense, because that means that, but a lot of people are really going there to really the end part of their lives, really the end. Not
that's true.
So at quite a late stage.
Yeah, that's true, and I will explain you later why this quiet stage. They arrive to the nursing home probably with more age than in other countries because our social culture situation. I will explain you also about that. So as I already told you, nursing homes here in Spain are perceived so sad. The people, they don't really like, they don't really believe that it's a good place to arrive when they are old or when they are on the dependent age. But nevertheless, this thinking, and this is a thinking before pandemic, 70% of the older people in Spain, they know that they should have to go to the nursing home. And the other 30%, from that, the other 30% that they believe they don't will arrive to go to the nursing home, half of those, they know they won't arrive to go there because of the cost. So although this perception, most of the Spanish people know that they will arrive to go to those nursing homes. So you can imagine the opportunity to change this habitat solution into a real attractive, not just from the perception point of view, also from the functional, from the benefits, and from the feeling point of view, how rich could be this market here in Spain. So to give you more data about it, in Spain, the average cost of a nursing home is 1,777 euros, which probably for Switzerland is not too much, for Spain. And also if we see the different regions it's too much. And if we compare to the medium cost of a home care solution, which is 1,200 euros. So
who pays for this 1,700? Is this all full out of pocket, or is the government foreseeing this type of expenses?
It really depends. It really depends. If you go to a private one, we have to, as I already explained you, we have two kind of nursing homes. We have the private and the public. If you go to a public, which is not concert, you have to pay. So you have from your pension, you have to pay, from your wealth, you have to pay, and so on. So talking more about what's happening here in the senior market. Nowadays, the senior market here in Spain, especially on the nursing home, is becoming more professional market. So small companies don't have the capacity to compete with large operators, and are being acquired in M&A processes. We are involved nowadays in many M&A processes. Those familiar nursing homes are being acquired by big large groups coming mainly from France. So as I started explaining you, the bed coverage here in Spain, we are not reaching that ratio, which is the ratio recommended by the World Health Organization, which is 5 beds per each 100 over 65 people. So we are 4.1. We are not reaching that ratio. The current supply is quite low about nursing home beds. So we have an estimation of a deficit of 100,000 beds of nursing homes, which is a lot. And we know that it's necessary to double the current supply. We know that we need at least, in the next 30 years, we need at least to obtain 400,000 new beds to arrive to that ratio of 5% recommended by the World Health Organization.
And how does the government, what is actually the strategy that the government has to cope with this huge demographic shift coming towards you? And take into account the current situation, what is the strategy? What's the vision? What the government is trying to undertake, or not?
Let me. That's a pity. It's something that I used to think a lot about that issue. How is going to be the future? Because if you see the formula we don't have beds. The people doesn't want to go, but they know they will go. But we have the main issue, which is pension. We know that this cost, and I'm not give you more facts in order not to get boring for your viewers, but we have a really strange formula, which is, the cost of the nursing homes, then the cost of the personal home care people, And we know also the pension we have, which is much lower than the cost of the solutions the people need, the aging people need. So the formula doesn't match at all. It doesn't match. So, and when you think about that and you believe that obviously the government should have to do things, the first thing I would like to introduce before giving you the answer to how is this strategy here in Spain is that since 2006, the government here developed what is called a state dependency law, whose objective was to regulate and protect dependent people, either for health reasons or for reason of age. So you have to understand that the aging people is involved on that law, on the state dependency law. And in addition to this law, we have some other laws which are regional ones. But as you see, I'm talking about laws. I'm not talking about solutions.